With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 88, chance of showers and storms tonight with a low of 70. Maverick's Real Roast Beef is an East Metro treasure with the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities and so much more. Maverick's is located in Roseville on Lexington Avenue, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
It comes and goes. We're out here chasing a feeling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. This is your host, Tara Martini, along with the fabulous Becky McNatten. We're glad to have you listening as we live and share stories of mental health.
And we are so grateful to our sponsors who help make all of this possible, Tara. The Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus.
Entertainment worth coming out for.
Maverick's Real Roast Beef.
The best roast beef sandwiches you'll find in the metro area.
And Coscart.
Your local marketplace website to buy socially and environmentally conscious products.
Thank you, sponsors. We are very grateful for you. And Tara, oh my gosh, today is a big day.
Huge day.
We are airing Feels Out Loud live from Pride. Can you even believe it?
No, I can't.
This is so cool. It is a beautiful day here. It was a little rainy this morning, so it has held off now.
Yep.
It's a beautiful day, and we are super excited to be here. Come visit us if you are listening at the AM 950 booth right here in the park. It is booth 407 and 408. We will also be here for a bit after the show. If you want to come say hi, we would love to see you. And we have chairs right out front. You can come watch us. You can come watch the other programs. Come stop by.
That would be amazing. And Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness is here too at Pride.
We absolutely are.
Yes, and we would love to have you come visit us as well. We are at booths 282 and 283. So stop by and say hi, as well as we have a fan favorite of DIY body glitter in a variety of colors.
Yes.
Or purchase an All the Feels tote bag.
Yeah. Our whole booth is themed around every feel gets to have its place. All the feels matter. Wear them and share them. So we are handing out feel wheels. We are handing out DIY body glitter in 1 ounce bottles for people to make.
We do. And we have t-shirts for sale. We have totes for sale, as well as stickers. There's a variety of cool merch for sale in addition to honoring all the feels.
Yeah, well said, Tara. It is truly amazing to be here at Pride this weekend and bringing our radio show, which is only a couple of months old now.
It is, which is hard to believe because I feel like we've been doing this forever.
Yeah, we're sort of babies to the whole radio thing, but it's so great to be in this weekend of celebration. Our show, Feels Out Loud, airs Sundays at 9 a.m. every week. And since we started, we have really loved being able to bring mental health messages to the airwaves.
It does. It feels so important to be highlighting mental health and everything included in living a life that promotes mental wellness, especially with everything that's going on in our community, our state, our country, and in our world.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels Out Loud is a show hosted by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness with you and I as co-hosts, firmly aligns with AM 950's mission of being here to celebrate Pride with positivity, joy, and unity while amplifying LGBTQIA2+ voices. We are proud to support and stand together as a community, especially in a time when LGBTQIA2+ rights are under attack. Thank you, AM 950, for your mission.
For sure, Becky. And I have to say, it is a slice of joy-filled connection to be here at Pride.
Yeah, well said. It is a
is.
slice of joy-filled connection.
It is. As I was walking here from the parking ramp, I thought, I know this is a lot of work, Andy Otto, but wouldn't it be
Yeah,
amazing
right.
if this was every weekend? Just a little reminder.
And it is joy. I mean, when we talk about all the feels,
Yeah.
it is absolutely joy.
Yeah, there is love in this world.
Yes.
There is joy in this world.
Yes.
Even among all the hate. And I know that this is a world right now that feels so dark lately, but I see people smiling and there is bright color everywhere. I look.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And in this space, there is love all over the place. And we are lucky enough to be sitting here with all these people around and honoring how much this matters right now.
It matters right now. Tara, we've been hearing from listeners over the last several months how impactful our country and the events occurring in it have been on mental health. And you and I sit in the mental health realm every day.
We do.
And so we see firsthand the reality of these challenges.
Mhm.
There is this, I'm going to say, fundamental response of powerlessness and hopelessness, like through and through and through. And we started hearing this really right after our show started airing in January.
Mhm.
And since we started Feels Out Loud that month, we have been asked, I think, dozens of times about how individuals and communities can hold and acknowledge and express the emotions of powerlessness and hopelessness.
Mhm.
Thoughts on this?
I think a common sentiment or question I receive from clients is, how do you do this every day
Mm,
when so many of us are feeling so hopeless and helpless?
like, how do you come back to that spot
Yep.
of hopelessness, helplessness, powerlessness
Right.
over and over and over again?
Yep. And I think the key is that, well, it's an honor.
Yeah.
Right? It's an honor to sit with you when you're feeling hopeless and helpless,
Absolutely.
because the key is not to just sit in it. The key is to process it
Hmm.
and then to go beyond it. So as therapists, we do see this. We've been walking alongside our clients as their challenge to sit and process.
Yeah.
But then it's coming up with ways to transform their feelings into something else.
Yep.
So when we look at our country, it's super overwhelming right now. But the biggest thing when you're feeling overwhelmed is to think small and think about what is within my reach. And I don't necessarily mean even my community,
Sure.
just what can I do within my arm's reach to regain my sense of power and hope.
Hmm.
So, first, take the time to honor your feelings and sit in them, and then think, how can I transform those feelings of powerless and hopelessness? What can I do within my family or just within my neighborhood to regain a sense of power and hope?
It's a really good point. In sometimes part of what brings hopelessness or powerlessness is this feeling of it being so total.
Yep.
Way, way, way bigger. And
Yep.
and in actuality, it is.
It is.
That you're saying if we can take those and reduce them to something small that we can respond to, have an action item around.
Yep.
It allows us to have some ability to do something.
Right. It's less overwhelming because it is easy to be overwhelmed if we think the state of our country, the state of our world.
Yep.
Because there is truly, like, that in itself
Yeah,
is too big.
totally.
So
So-
think just within our arm's reach.
Yeah, and you and I want to say very specifically to our listeners, to the people who are sitting in the chairs listening to our show right now, to that hopelessness and powerlessness, maybe raw sadness, anger, bitterness, isolation, loneliness, the whole range of the feels right now for people. We hear you and we see you. We hear you and we see you, and we're with you in it fully. We feel it too. I swear to you, we feel it too.
We do.
Tara,
absolutely do.
how do you cope? So I listed a whole range of emotions there. How do you cope with those?
You did, and I felt them all.
Right. Well, it is all the feels.
It is all the feels. So I do a couple of things. One, I do exactly what I say with my clients. Is the first thing I do is I think really small and I search for the good,
Mm,
because the biggest thing that you have to remember is within all the bad, there's always good. And even if that's a very small thing, I first search for the good and then I lean into the quiet.
ooh,
Well,
yeah.
what does that even mean?
Especially
Um,
here. It is not particularly quiet where we sit right now.
It is not. It is
Yeah.
not. So,
Right.
what does it mean to lean into the quiet? So, what I do is I escape the noise.
Mm,
I focus on the things that ground me. Now, me. That could be very different for you. It could be very different for our audience members.
right.
But for me, what does that mean? I focus on the things that I neglect when my life gets busy.
Okay.
The hard thing, and I think for all of us, what we do when we get super busy is we neglect the things that bring us joy and peace,
Mm-hmm.
because
Good
we're
point.
busy doing sports
Mhm.
and family things and all that stuff.
Yep.
And work. And then we sit back and go, oh my gosh, when's the last time I did something that brought me peace and joy?
Yeah.
So what I do is I go back to reading, playing music, hanging in my backyard, painting, avoiding the news at all costs. That's just me. Heading to nature, all those things.
Mhm.
And then my mind and heart get quiet.
That's a very good point. And knowing what balance looks like with all of those. And in the midst of Pride, as we sit here, first day of Pride, we need to acknowledge that beyond the love and sharing of the festival is a society wrought with direct hate and marginalization
Yep.
toward the very community that we're celebrating this weekend. From all of us at Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness, we recognize the need, and I mean need and requirement, for active allyship and commitment to passionately seeking social justice through connection. So to everyone listening, you and I have a powerful message today.
We do.
We want to discuss how we can lean into the feelings right now and offer an opportunity to transform our emotions into loving action. Hate does not drive out hate. We want people to join us in a social movement of practicing radical empathy. And we are focused on loving fiercely today.
We are. And I
Loving
think a lot
fiercely.
of
And we
people
say it to
here
each other a
today-
lot.
Yes, we do. We do. Love
Mhm.
fiercely.
Have you heard of this before, this term radical empathy?
Yes, I have, my love. So, working in the school system for a long time, it's a concept that's been used in schools to teach kiddos to go beyond simple empathy.
Okay.
Also, there's been, as a former English teacher, there's been various authors that have written about the topic. Isabella Wilkerson, Terry Gibbons. Terry Gibbons is the one who coined the phrase. So, yes, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Okay. Because some people have not heard of the words radical empathy. Like,
No.
why radical empathy over empathy?
Right.
And so today we are exploring this topic, radical empathy, and actually the direct action and response. Radical empathy as a direct response to hopelessness, powerlessness, and hate-filled action in society through fierce commitment to loving action.
Mhm.
And it's a big topic that you and I have a lot to say on. Put us on a platform. We have microphones.
Yeah, we always have a lot to say, girl.
Yes. And so we want everyone listening to join us in practicing it together. But I first want to start, before we dive into what radical empathy is, I want to start with what empathy is specifically.
Yep.
Max Carver says that empathy is the starting point for creating a community and taking action. It's the impetus for creating change. What does that quote even cause you to think about, Tara?
I love that. The words that stand out to me are empathy and then creating change.
Yeah, empathy is the starting point for creating a community.
Yep. So to me, it's when you have the capacity to do more than just feel sorry for someone, because that's sympathy.
Right.
You actually feel beside them. And when you feel beside them and you try and put yourself in their shoes, then it creates that sense of responsibility. It's almost that sense of a calling.
Right.
It's your duty to do something about their suffering.
Right. Empathy is not a practice.
No.
Is a practice,
Well,
not a state of being.
it-
We have to practice it. And empathy doesn't take us very far without any attached action to it.
Right.
Maybe we even need to consider it a muscle before we, as we think about practicing it.
Yep.
There are several different kinds of empathy. We have cognitive empathy, we have emotional empathy, and we have empathic concern, which are the actions that lead us to
Mhm.
practicing empathy for people.
Yep.
And you and I are going to get into so much more about what then radical empathy is
Yes, we
after we
are.
talk about each of those types of empathy.
Yep.
Super fascinating topic. What would you say quickly about how you practice empathy in your world, Tara?
Ooh, how I practice empathy in my world. So let me tell you a little story about how I practice empathy in my world. So I think empathy can really change a situation.
Mhm.
And back in my teaching days, I worked with a transgender teen who I just adored. And this transgender teen,
All right. Well,
well,
we're
I'm
going
going to get to that story.
We'll
after
start with
our
this-
commercial break.
Feels Out Loud. We'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.
In a world full of strangers, you don't know who to trust.
I'm Amy Ruzick with No Place Like Home at Remax Results. We're proud to sponsor AM 950's booth and all the incredible live broadcasts happening throughout the Twin Cities Pride weekend. like The Illegal Trans Woman, The Gailey Show, and so many more. At No Place Like Home, we believe that real estate is more than just houses. We're more than real estate agents. We educate, advocate, and give back. Whether you're buying your first home, selling your current one, or relocating to Minnesota for a fresh start, we offer guidance that fits your life, not just the market. With LGBTQ plus rights under attack in so many places, Minnesota stands as a beacon, and we're proud to help both new arrivals and lifelong locals find where they truly belong. Experience the difference in working with a team that's deeply rooted in community. Learn more at noplacelikehome.info. At No Place Like Home, we work hard for our clients while serving the community we love.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Our station is located on a marsh, and we do our best not to disturb that environment. So I was thrilled to discover Natural Lawn. Their safer products and soil tests ensure that your lawn will be healthy, lush, and green. I don't even have to worry about bringing my furry friend to the station, thanks to the great care from Natural Lawn. I highly recommend Natural Lawn to keep your lawn beautiful, healthy, without compromising safety and sustainability. More at naturalawn.com.
Now is the perfect time to prepare for summer reading, and Next Chapter Booksellers can help. Not sure what to get? The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations to find books that fit your taste. Next Chapter Booksellers also hosts many book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop by the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul or place an order online at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Live music is taking over the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio. Head over on Tuesday, July 1st, it's Carl Davis. Wednesday, July 2nd, it's Bryce Heggie. And on Thursday, July 3rd, it's Ash St. John. Music runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, outdoor live music is back at the Park Tavern.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. I am Tara Martini, joined by Becky McNatten, fabulous one. We are glad to have you listening today as we air our show live from Pride.
Live from Pride.
So exciting. We still can't believe that we're here live.
Woohoo! And a huge thank you to our sponsors who help make all of this possible. The Metropolitan Library Service Agency.
Your Twin Cities Metro Public Libraries are committed to providing quality services, resources, and programs to the LGBTQ plus community. Check out their Metro Pride book list.
Yes, and we have the Minuteman Press Uptown.
AM 950's printing partner.
Cup of Java.
Serving coffee, drinks, and good in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood in Minneapolis.
So awesome. Thank you, sponsors. So let's dive right back into our discussion on radical empathy. And thank you to everybody who is listening to us out in the audience today.
Woohoo.
If you would like to stop by, we are at AM 950's booth, live from Pride. We would love to have you stop and say hi too after the show. So we're talking about empathy and empathy, as we were saying before the commercial break, this idea of stepping into the shoes of another person and developing an understanding from another person's perspective, the ability to experience what another person might be experiencing, that real capacity to comprehend and identify the thoughts and feelings of someone else. And that idea that we are saying, I feel with you. I feel with you, not for you, not about you, with you. And a recognition that we may not know the story of what someone's living. But Tara, basic empathy is not enough anymore.
It's not.
It's not enough. We need engagement and intention behind what we do. And I absolutely love this term, radical empathy, when we get also to add the word practice, as you and I have added for today, on the front, which is a verb to note doing something, practicing. we get this whole phrase that effectively means extreme.
Yep.
We're talking about radical as very different from the norm. Radical empathy as something else besides basic empathy. Think of it, everybody, as empathy to the extreme.
To the extreme.
And so what do you think of the phrase?
Well, of course, I have to create a visual for everyone.
Okay.
So when I think of empathy to the extreme, I think of a colorful, think of empathy in words.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think of an explosion of the letters of empathy just exploding and the letters breaking into tiny slivers of action that are being cast in
I love
many
that.
different directions. Maybe because it's Pride, I just envision like a rainbow of colors.
Yeah.
And then the action piece is them scattering everywhere.
Well, it's almost like glitter that people might be able to get from our Becoming Together booth. If you
Yes.
want to make some free DIY body glitter, I've pictured these like glitter flying in the air, which you cannot not get covered in if you come by our booth and make DIY body glitter.
And maybe that's why I can't get that on
Could
my
be.
head since we've been strewing hundreds of pounds of body glitter
We have
last
that.
week.
Radical empathy is beyond basic empathy in requiring actions to seek perspectives. It isn't just the understanding where someone might be coming from. It's taking that action to go find the perspective. More than an awareness of how others might be thinking, it's this action toward improving society.
Right.
And if empathy is responding to someone with "I'm with you," radical empathy is actively finding those to be with. Think of it that way, everybody. It's finding the people to be with.
So, empathy, what is it?
Yeah, one way to define it is, through the eyes of the other, as Isabel Wilkerson talked about.
Yep.
Radical empathy means putting into the work to educate yourself and listen to what other people might be saying.
Yep. It is the real capacity to comprehend and identify the thoughts and feelings of someone else.
Yeah, Isabel Wilkerson says that not as we imagine we would feel. Radical empathy is not about you and what you think you would do in a situation, which is so powerful. You're the one who found this quote. That you have never been in and perhaps never will be in the situation that other people are in. It is this kindred connection from a place of deep knowing that opens your spirit to the pain of another as they perceive it. Well said by her. Well said by her. Have you practiced radical empathy, Tara?
Well, yes, I have. Yes.
Well, tell me about it.
So, again, everything comes back to teaching, I feel like. So, I used to work in a district that was rather affluent. And one of the things that I observed over time was that I don't care how affluent a district is, there are always going to be families in need who lack the resources and need that support. And a group of teachers and I would really, over time, realize, wow, there's a significant number, these really radical. We then realized we need to take action.
Yeah.
And so we went to the district and we said, listen, we need to create this night and we need to provide resources, free things like eye exams and different things, free food, different things to give to these families. And they said, okay, we'll support you. We don't know if there's really that big of a need for it, but we will. We turned it into action. But coming together actually was a part of it. And the seed.
We
club
were
as
a
well.
part of the resource
Yes.
night, which I think is such a beautiful example of practicing radical empathy.
Yeah.
It's going and seeking the perspectives of other people. What a great, I
did.
love that example.
And by the way, when they think like not many people would show up, our first year we did it, 400 families showed up.
Yeah, that's
400
right.
families.
Yes.
And it had got to the point where we had to move locations because it had gotten so big. And it still gives me goosebumps every single year to sit back and go, there are families in need. And when you take your empathy and you make it radical empathy, the difference you can make
Right. Well,
is profound.
To our listeners who are tuning in right now, who may be feeling hopeless or powerless or apathetic about the world around you, first, I want to say I'm with you in that. Radical empathy is an active striving that offers some direction. It actually gives us hope, as you're talking about. It gives us things we can do, actions we can take. And it was a term popularized, you mentioned this a little bit ago, by Terry Givens in 2020. Terry Givens wrote an entire book called Radical Empathy, Finding a Path to Bridging Racial Divide. And I encourage folks to purchase and read that book on their own. But the author highlights 6 steps in the book on living out radical empathy. Tara, tell us about them.
Yeah. So the first one is a willingness to be vulnerable. So being vulnerable, I know, is hard. It means being honest and truthful. So it's thinking to yourself, are there ways that you have allowed yourself to be vulnerable with yourself and others?
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that your friends and family feel comfortable expressing their feelings and opinions around you?
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you really think about it, take a moment and go, is that something that's true?
Are people doing that with you?
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Number 2, becoming grounded in who you are, which, think about that. Particularly if you're in your 20s or 30s.
Mm-hmm.
This entails...
You're learning about what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And really who you are. This entails having empathy for yourself, which, Becky, you're a huge advocate for, about that idea of empathy for oneself, which
Yes.
not a lot of people have thought about.
Yes.
It's taking the steps to understand who you are at your core. Is this something you practice? Do you create a safe space for yourself to make mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people, this is huge. It's viewing mistakes as an opportunity for growth versus looking at them as a setback.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, open yourself up to the experience of others. So pay attention to your community and the ways you interact with others. Take the time to listen to people's stories.
And that might take some active seeking. That's the radical part in there. That when you open yourself up to the experience of others, you might have to go find it.
You may. And that does take vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
because there's discomfort in that, right? Like, wait a second, you're asking me to...
Right. Could be something new.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. The next one is practicing empathy. And we talked about it. It's that practice piece. The more you practice, the more natural it'll become. And that's that starting small thing. And then you grow from there.
Yep.
Number 5, it's the taking action piece. And that's where the radical empathy part is. Think of ways to take action and fight for a cause in a nonviolent way. So think small protests, marches, speeches, social movement.
Even coming out here today.
Yes.
Coming out to Pride, even sitting and listening to the rest of the AM 950 shows that are airing this afternoon. These are all ways that we can take action in learning the perspectives of other people.
Mm-hmm. And it's small things too that have a big impact. For example, in response to things that happened with Pride, I stopped going shopping at certain stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I did for myself. And you can think that's a small act of defiance or whatever it is. But then looking at the large impact it had, because then it wasn't just one person doing it.
Right.
It was thousands of people, and it did have a profound impact.
Right.
And so thinking like that, again, when we said think within your reach what you can do, because then it's less overwhelming than going, oh my gosh, I don't know where there's a large protest going on.
Mm-hmm. Which leads to that last step that Givens talks about in her book.
Which is creating change and building trust. Creating change means being involved. So choose one issue, again, because then it's less overwhelming, that you want to see and pay attention to the positions of your local politicians. Write letters or call when you want to see them take action.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally join a group that advocates for that issue that you care about.
So at the end of her book, Tara, Givens says a really powerful quote. Can we fight radical hate with radical empathy? She actually asks the question of everyone. Can we fight radical hate with radical empathy? We may not agree with our neighbor, but I hope our love for communities can help us find a path to move past hate. I was struck by that quote when I read the book. A super empowering message and really reflects our hopes too. What are your thoughts on her quote?
I love that quote so much. So much.
Yeah. Well, we try to live it every single day.
We do. And so when you asked, when we were talking about like the show and the concept of that, my first thought was yes. We can match that hate with empathy. But then I got thinking, when I was really thinking about it, I thought, but I can also challenge myself to better understand my hateful neighbor, because no one
Hard.
is born filled with hate. It is learned. Who taught them to hate? What happened to them? Will we ever, and I know this is a big challenge, folks, but will we ever practice true radical empathy if we don't take steps to feel beside every human?
Well, I feel like you just blew my mind. I don't know.
I know. I know that's like taking radical empathy to like a whole new level.
But it's a really good point, because part of what you're saying is, hey, it's easy to practice radical empathy when it's easy to practice radical empathy.
It is.
It's easy to practice radical empathy with people who think like we do.
Right.
Without extending ourselves outside of our sphere of what's comfortable to us, what we know. So if we're like, yeah, I'm going to be empathetic to the people on my street, or to the people who are already my friends.
Yes.
That is, and we ought not to minimize it. You and I are smiling right now. We ought not to minimize it, because that still is empathy, but it is radical empathy when we purposefully seek to expand our view and what we are immersing in.
Right.
What is it like to put yourself in the position of people you don't even know?
Oh.
Because we get asked this kind of question a lot. Of that is fundamentally what empathy is. We say stepping into the shoes of another person frequently, but what is that like?
Yeah. Well, just like so many things, it's unfamiliar, but also remarkable. And we talk about that so much at our practice. As humans, we prefer safe, right? Because that's just at our core. The act of radical empathy entails stepping away from safe. So let's take the reframe. Rather than, ooh, it's unfamiliar, which means unsafe, think of it as unsafe means undiscovered. Okay. Every person is a story you have yet to discover.
That's a really cool way to look at it.
An honor it is to be able to do that work.
You and I have talked often about how we all are a walking story.
We are.
And you and I see ourselves as storytellers, but we are all a walking story. That how different the world would be if we wore our stories on our shirts. If we actually had to literally wear them, and we don't.
Right.
So that is part of the radical aspect of this. We have to do something to learn what the story is of another person.
We do.
Particularly, and you highlight it so beautifully, particularly to the people who aren't, who don't share the same story that we do.
Right.
But you noted, everybody is this, what did you just say? Discovery, a story yet to discover.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do it?
How do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, we do that like things like a social media movement and
in our
things like that.
Yeah. I mean, so much to think about as we head to the commercial break.
Yep.
But you and I in the next few minutes are going to be talking about how actually people can live radical empathy with us.
Because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another to how are we going to commit and how are we going to practice this?
Yes. And so often you and I in the mental health sphere, we believe people want to do these things.
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't know how to.
Well, correct.
And they don't have access to the either steps or the language or the words to use. And so we want to hand that to folks.
Yes, we do.
We want them to join us in today living radical empathy.
Yes.
So we're going to head to a commercial break. But when we come back, we will continue our discussion on radical empathy and what you all, our listeners, have wondered about. Feels Out Loud will be back in just a moment.
Trying to find what you lost. You can't know it all.
Hi, this is Laura with Food Freedom Radio, and I invite you to discover 2 local grocery stores with a global fare. Market Fresh, south of Rosedale, carries fresh vegetables, quality meats, seafood, and a wide variety of grocery staples, all in a welcoming store. Shanghai Wholesale Market is in the St. Paul Midway area, and it's a food warehouse open to the public.
Shanghai Wholesale carries more than 500 types of noodles. And frankly, it's time for Minnesotans to learn that pasta is a little bit more than spaghetti noodles and tuna casserole. There's sweet potato, bean, rice, fresh, frozen, rye. It's a paradise for those seeking gluten-free pasta. Also, both Market Fresh and Shanghai Wholesale Market seek to buy local, so you can look for local quail eggs, unique cheeses, and Minnesota-made tofu. Open the door to food abundance. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store just south of Rosedale, and Shanghai Wholesale Market, your local international food warehouse north of Menards in the St. Paul Midway area.
I'll never forget. I was driving my Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota, and I was hit at 35 miles an hour, rear-ended square flush. If not for the structural integrity of my Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. There's a lot I can say about Rudy Luther Toyota, about their fantastic service department and their great selection, but being able to say your car saved my life is the best endorsement I can make. Toyotas from Rudy Luther Toyota are my highest recommendation. Get one today and tell them me, Matt McNeil, told you to stop on in. Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
All Energy Solar is proud to be back at the Twin Cities Pride Festival this year. With over 15 years of experience, they've helped Minnesotans switch to clean, sustainable solar energy. They make solar accessible to everyone while reducing your carbon footprint. Whether it's for your home or business, All Energy Solar designs personalized systems and delivers top quality experience from start to finish. During Pride Weekend, All Energy Solar is offering a special $500 discount when you stop by their booth and go solar. You can find them near the Harmon Place entrance in the red zone at booth 595. Need a little sunscreen while you're enjoying the festival? They've got you covered with free mini sunscreen and fun temporary tattoos all weekend long. The friendly team of solar experts will be on hand to answer your questions and celebrate right alongside you. Stop by and say hi or visit allenergysolar.com to learn more.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Mavericks Real Roast Beef. Mavericks has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Mavericks Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. I'm Tara Martini, along with the fabulous Becky McMahon. We are glad to have you listening today as we air our show live from Pride.
Live from Pride. Live from Pride. Booth 407 and 408. Woohoo! Yes!
Has been so incredible to be out at the park today. I think we'll be able to wrap our heads and hearts around this sometime tonight before bed.
I don't know. I don't, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe Monday.
It has been absolutely incredible. And a giant thank you to our sponsors who have truly helped make our live show happen. Thank you to No Place Like Home Realtors.
Working hard for our clients while serving the community.
And Nicolette's Macarons.
Check out their food truck all weekend at Pride.
And we actually have them at our table right now.
And holy cannoli, they're amazing.
And what's so great about it is I've driven there and had them.
Yes.
And now they were just handed to me right
they
before our
just
show. So please visit their booth all weekend long at Pride.
Yeah, they're absolutely incredible. And if we didn't like them, we just wouldn't say that or say anything about them. And they are absolutely fabulous.
Right. And Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness is also at Pride this weekend.
We are.
Tara, where can people find us?
Well, first of all, our location this year is absolutely stunning.
Yes.
We have to now be in that same location every single year. So we are right by the Remembrance Garden.
Mm-hmm. With 282 and 283.
Yep, 282 and 283. If you don't know where that is, we're by the Incredible Mayo Clinic booth with the massive, beautiful bubbles.
Yes.
And so,
and we're doing DIY body glitter there. People can stop by and celebrate wearing and sharing feels in every color.
Yep.
We
have
would love to see you there.
We have
Come say hi.
Plinko. You can play the Plinko game for some wonderful prizes.
Yeah, and so we're going to be wrapping up our show in just a few minutes today. But up next is Native Roots Radio. I'm awake. So keep listening to AM 950 as we pass the microphones to those show hosts. Should be a great show to listen to live from Pride.
For sure.
And today, Tara, we've been exploring radical empathy.
Yes, we have, girl.
Because basic empathy is not enough for this world anymore. We've been talking about what this is, what it looks like, and how people can integrate radical empathy into their daily lives. Each of us has the capacity, and I promise you all, each of us has the capacity to implement this message at an individual level. You and I wouldn't be here saying this today if we didn't absolutely believe that.
Right.
And so here comes our social movement that we want to learn. We want to have people join us in, Tara.
We do. We absolutely do.
So tell us about it. Tell us what we get with radical empathy.
Well, with radical empathy, we are committing to practice.
Yes.
We are committing to learning.
Committing to learning all sorts of new things.
Yes.
Committing to not knowing what we're going to learn.
Right. And I think that part is so key because as adults, I think for a lot of people, the mentality is, well, we are the teachers, right? Whether it's parents or we're the aunt or the uncle or the older neighbor, where we also have to step back and go, we also have a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a wonderful opportunity to be the student.
Yes. We with radical empathy, we also commit to trying and building skills or proficiency. We talked about it is a thing. Empathy is a thing. We don't just have.
Right.
We have to grow.
We have to grow.
And we commit to being vulnerable, as you did such a beautiful job talking about it in our last segment, and creating space to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
When we choose to learn, when we agree and commit to learn, we're going to mess up.
We are going to mess up. And I think it is and I would say that to my students all the time, is just mistakes mean you're trying, and mistakes mean you're one step closer to achieving whatever it is you're doing. So if you make a mistake on your path to radical empathy, it means I'm closer to achieving that,
Yep.
right? So I'm closer to making my community better.
Yep. And we commit to immersing ourselves in sharing connection with others. And absolutely, we stop the swirl and hate.
Ugh.
Because that feels like it's so real and profound right now. And we can intentionally seek a different path.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tara, you and I have been inspired by this phrase, practice radical empathy. We've been talking about it a lot recently. Tell us how you've been inspired by the phrase.
Well, one of the things, and I don't even remember when we started talking about this, was
A couple months ago.
It wasn't very long ago.
Yeah.
I so often, and I think both of us have this mindset of, I am so tired of just sitting here thinking about all the hate in this world. It's like, okay, like what am I going to do about it?
Yes.
Because I'm so tired of it. And so I was reflecting on, well, how could I take my many years of teaching and being a school counselor and being a therapist, how can I take all those skills as well as my lifelong calling around empathy and then do something that has a positive impact?
Mm-hmm.
Because just as much as hate is learned, empathy is learned as well. And I thought, well, then
well said.
Why can't I just teach empathy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't go into everyone's homes and give like cute little lessons, but I can create those cute little lessons and get them into people's homes.
Right.
And so why not create something that teaches radical empathy?
Right.
And with Becky, who's this magic human, any idea that Becky has, or if any one of us has and says, Becky, I have this crazy idea, or Becky will come to me and say, I have this crazy idea. Well, any crazy idea turns into like a real thing.
Well, it's practice radical empathy has really become a mission for me.
It has.
It is my life motto. I believe that the world can show up better for each other. And I absolutely think that we can learn how to fight hate with by offering empathy to another.
We for sure can.
It means something to me to be challenged and tasked with seeking empathy.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm right alongside everyone in living out the challenge today, not just perceiving empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I have always believed in empathy, but really actively going out and seeking it. So I want to tell people about our empathy movement because it starts literally today.
Today.
Tara, you kick it off.
Well, first, I love there was a member of the audience that when we both said today, she was like,
yeah,
like
today!
beaming
Woohoo!
with excitement and cheering from her seat. The amount of excitement and love is so amazing. So you can follow us on social media. So the empathy movement is going to start on social media starting today. We will be talking about radical empathy every day on various social posts.
Yep. And this is a partnership with a nonprofit that Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness has with a nonprofit called the Seed Club. And that stands for the Sharing Empathy Everyday Club. The whole mission behind that nonprofit is to build a world that can be more empathic. And they're a local nonprofit right in the Twin Cities who's focused on offering ways through crowdfunding to share empathy more fully. Please check out their website too. We're going to have their info on our website, but it is theseedclub.org. Please check out their website.
Can I give them a little shout out?
Yeah.
So the Seed Club, when I gave that example of that resource night that I was a part of, so Seed Club was like, what can we do like to create this? And one of the things that we realized is like these families were getting all these resources, and we're blessed to be able to provide them with all of these free things, whether it was a free loaf of bread or clothing or different things. And Seed Club was like, when we would just in the past like have like Target bags or you know, like whatever, and they donated these beautiful totes.
Yeah,
and they were
they
just
do great
like,
work.
Yep, here you go. And we were just like, are you kidding me? Like, you're just giving us like 300 of these totes.
Empathy in action. And that really is our movement is all about empathy in action and helping people identify strategies to practice and integrate empathy in simple ways. So Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness social media will offer daily empathy activities created by our therapists.
Yep. So each week we'll be sharing simple strategies for embracing the concept of empathy. Each post will have a few choices of action and you can pick what you want. So what I love about it too is it's very personalized. So it's not just like one thing you're going to do. And if that's kind of not really your thing, you're stuck doing it. It's you really can personalize and pick what you want. And if you're doing it, let's say with a partner or roommate or whoever, maybe one feels right to you and then the other one feels right for whoever else.
Yep.
You don't have to do the same thing, or you can.
Yeah, every week will be 3 different options of activities, actions that you can take. You could do all 3 if you wanted, but as you said, if you're doing it alongside someone else, with someone else in your world, you could pick different things.
Yeah.
And would be really cool to have discussions about how you did those.
Yes.
You can join anytime. Our posts will have all the previous posts available to see, so you'll be able to check out what activities have previously been suggested. And we're going to be continuing this in the future. This is not done after 5 days or 10 days. We want to show people how easy it can be to practice empathy.
Well, it's just like Pride. Like we said, Pride isn't just 1 month long.
Yep.
Right? Pride
Right.
should be every day.
Right.
So you can see our posts on Instagram and Facebook and then share these with others in your life as well. If you complete activities, post on your own social media and tag us in the actions you took. And if you engage in radical empathy, post it on your social media.
Yes.
Tag Becoming Together.
Yes.
Stop by our office in Eden Prairie. Pick up a free practice radical empathy. And I see someone in our audience.
We have an audience member
wearing
who's
that.
wearing literally the
And
shirt.
I kind of want to make him stand up.
Will you
and
stand up and
model
show
it
us?
for everyone?
I did not know that this was going to be in our audience today. You are not a plant. You
No.
are not a plant.
No.
He's shaking his head. He was not a plant.
We did not pay him to be wearing that t-shirt.
I'll give you your 8 cents later. But so when people have 4 different posts that they've done for radical empathy, they can stop by our office. Yes, we are asking people to tag Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness in their empathy actions. Stop by our office and pick up a Practice Radical Empathy t-shirt. We will keep giving those out until everyone in this world has a Practice Radical Empathy shirt. Our hope is that everybody wears what you are wearing today.
I love that. Even his sunglasses are coordinated with the t-shirt.
And a really cool part about this that I want to have you have a chance to talk about, Tara, is if you are looking for radical empathy for little ones, because social media is really gauged toward teenagers and adults. So little ones who are not yet on social media, or you want a family empathy movement yourself, a way to bring empathy into your daily life as a family. Becoming Together will be selling radical empathy kits at our office. So I want you to stop by our office to purchase kits that have everything you need to implement a 1 week of radical empathy in action. 50% of every kit we sell will be donated to the Seed Club to help with their initiatives around sharing empathy every day. And I want people to be part of something big. I mean this here, everyone. If you are listening and you feel hopeless and powerless, we're with you in it. We want to give an opportunity for you to say, I can do something. It may be small. It may be right in my immediate circle. We can do something. And know that you are instantly connected and belong to a collective of humans who are pursuing radical change right along next to you. And Tara, you have been working on this like empathy kit. So please tell us the things that are in it.
I'm so excited. So it is a kit that, if you think of it like if you're aware of the subscription boxes that you can get mailed to your house, it is that, but it is all about empathy. And it is designed for, think like pre-K to 4th grade is kind of the emphasis. And it is things that kiddos could do on their own. You could do as a family. And it is quick activities that you can do that build empathy. Some of them are like lessons that you can do to actually teach the concept of empathy. And maybe there's a story attached to it, and then a tiny little like empathy map. But then also it's that action piece, the radical empathy. And so it is like, one of them is this crocheted sunflower, and then your job is to write a note and then drop it off at either a random person's doorstep or a neighbor's doorstep that says you are loved. And so it's a combination of things all around that idea of teaching empathy, but then also practicing it and taking action.
Yeah, and you've done such a beautiful job in these activities of bringing your teacher brain.
Oh, I've loved it.
Of all the actions and steps are absolutely clearly laid out. You have noted what to do each day. Everything, if you're a parent, everything you open up the box, it is in there. So you don't have to go buy anything else. And it truly is this idea of not waiting for moments for empathy to come to you.
Right.
We are saying, people, that empathy does not need to come to you. You don't have to wait to step into someone's shoes. You can go out and find them. It's striving to seek them. And you are offering this way for kids and families to do that super easily. Totally love it. Wow. We're at the end of our show already for today.
Can't believe it.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for coming out and watching us today and listening to our show. Up next is Native Roots Radio. I'm awake, so keep listening to AM 950 and tune into the awesome show that we have coming in the week ahead, everyone. Be kind to yourself. Remember that connection fosters wellness, and your voice is one that the world around you needs to hear. Share yourselves, friends.
Some go, some will, some won't.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire is a community that provides memory care to its residents, and we have a location in Bloomington and also another one that we just opened in Medina, Minnesota. But the big question is that why do people come to Welshire? Many of the people